Steve Marshall. And Steve, you can already feel the excitement in the air. Wow, what a game we have here tonight.
You know, we're still a good ways away from kickoff. The atmosphere is fantastic. Weather's going to be just fine. Number 1 and number 2, couldn't ask for more.
Don't get any better than this. And prime time, you know we got plenty of food. But hey, Steve, you said it. 2 good teams coming in. They did a good job of taking care of their semifinal matchups.
You know, Jenks just always seems to do what they need to do. A lot of times it's by a blowout. A lot of times it comes down to the last possession, and they're able to get the job done somehow, some way, all the time. Tulsa Union last week, their defense was just dominating. Tony Moore had a great game. It's a great matchup tonight.
Great matchup, and you talk about Union. Coach Blankenship did an outstanding job. We caught up with him, and he talked about how execution is going to be important in tonight's matchup.
You've got to really do a thorough job of staying focused on the assignments. I think it really boils down to which team, it sounds very cliches, but who plays the best. I mean, we both have played well to get to this point. We both know how to play. It really boils down to who's going to execute the best tonight.
And there you see Coach Blankenship right there. And Steve, the one thing you talk about execution, they did an outstanding job against Edmond Santa Fe. Tony Moore was really the difference.
Well, they had a game plan, and you heard them at halftime. You know, are you going to try and throw the ball more? Even though it was scoreless at halftime, they felt like they had moved the ball real well. They stuck with their game plan. In the end, it was plenty to win.
When you talk about these 2 teams, execution is definitely key. Caught up with Coach Alan Tremble of Jenks, and he had some of the same lines saying the execution is also going to be important for his team to get a win here tonight.
There'll be a handful of plays that probably will make the difference. You know, I mean, that's what I would predict anyway. There normally is 5 or 6 things that happen throughout a game like this that'll make all the difference.
And there you see Coach Tremble, and you talk about it, and I said in last week's primetime show, when you think about this Jenks team, they probably played the worst game they could have played, and they still came away with the big semifinal win.
Well, they do, again, what needs to be done. And whether it's defense, whether it's Brewer taking them down the field on the last second, you know, they look like they were done with 2 minutes, 44 seconds left. But I don't think anybody in the house last week thought for 1 second that Jenks was not going to come back and at least make an effort of it. Sure enough, they took it the distance and went on with the victory.
Hey, 2 outstanding teams, and you know big games, we bring out the big players, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
And let's go down on the sideline and get a little more input about the game with Tim Lasher and J.V. Haney. Guys?
Guys, thanks very much. It's going to be a fantastic football game tonight. The beasts of the East, the 2 powers in the state of Oklahoma and JV. It's gone beyond the state of Oklahoma now with these 2 teams.
You know, it really has, Tim, and I've followed it from the very beginning, and it's been such a tremendous rivalry. You know, it started out, it was just a Tulsa metro rivalry, and a good one at that. Then it became Eastern Oklahoma. Then it has become statewide, and as you said, now it certainly is nationally recognized as one of the great high school rivalries. And the thing that's most interesting to me is, as fans come in, you know, they have a favorite team. Jenks is going to win. No, Union's going to win. I can tell you this. Just sit back and relax. You're going to see a great football game. If you think you know who's going to win this one, I think you're wrong. Just enjoy it.
Well, we're going to take a look at the starters of these 2 teams right now. JV, when you look at the Union Redskins, this is what you talk about. The offensive line. They absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage last week against Edmond Santa Fe, and that's what led to their victory 20-0 over the Wolves.
Well, they've got an outstanding offensive line in there, and when you look at that wide receiver, Sean Allen, and look at the quarterback, Mackenzie Adams, along with Tony Moore in the backfield, you really have a good ball club.
Tony Moore had an amazing football game, and they, again, on both sides of the ball, dominated the line of scrimmage. That's what led to their victory. They're going to have to do that tonight against Jenks. Coach Bill Blankenship is going to open it up, but he has a lot of confidence in his offense, as he showed last week, because last week he put a lot of confidence in the defensive side of the ball because his offense was inside the 10-yard line on 2 occasions, didn't kick a field goal. They went for it. They knew they could hold Edmond Santa Fe deep in their own territory. You look at the defense again on the line. Lane Horton, Chase Nelson, Terrell Jamo, Tola Jamo, Jake Smith, and Antonia Graham. Those are the best front 7 in high school football. On the defense also, Clint Bells, Ricky Gardner, Brock Dixon, Chris Gilchrist, and Dominique Franks. Those are very big corners, JV. That's something Putnam City North didn't have last week against the big receivers for Jenks.
And you know the safety's always important, and Brock Dixon does a tremendous job.
Let's take a look at the Jenks Trojans now. Guys, they've won 7 championships in the last 8 years. Chase Beeler, Cody Ferrier, Jared De La Cerda, Chad Doris, Cody Combs, and Ben Cooten. Again, a very solid line up front on offense, JV.
Well, Ben Cooten does an excellent job at tight end, gets a lot of help all the way down the line, so they really will perform well.
When you look at Jenks, though, you look at their backfield. Andrew Brewer, Tony Gillespie, Freddie Carolina, those three names along with Tyler Graves and Teddy Andrus, they scare people when they see them coming. They do whatever they want to on offense, it seems.
Yeah, really, the speed of Andrew Brewer is just absolutely phenomenal. And then the power running of Freddie Carolina. What a combination.
They're going to have to stop that on the edge, guys, if they're going to have a chance tonight. We look at the Jenks defense. This is a group that has really held the scores down all season long against their opponents. They outscore their opponents by about a 37-point margin. Cash Yell, Zach Casey, Chase Beeler, Tanner Shuck, Philip Dillard, he's going to Nebraska on a scholarship, and Matt Felty.
Well, when you anchor it around Philip Dillard, that gives you a good advantage very quickly.
It's not bad to have a Division I-A scholarship football player in that defensive line. And again on defense, Ben Cutton, John Fouch, Josh Dames, Jesse Meyer, and Jeff Jackson will be the starters back there. This is a crew that's come up big in the fourth quarter every single game. The last two games, JV, they've only given up 3 points while their offense scored 49, and they've given up less than 100 yards as an average of total offense to their opponents.
And, you know, we talked about the line, but you look at Meyer and Jackson in the secondary, and they will get some free passes if you don't just pinpoint every one of them.
Guys, Jenks is going to have to play 4 quarters tonight. You're not going to be able to just win the fourth quarter against Tulsa Union, but this is going to be a smash-mouth football game, and we're going to have a great time, guys. Back up to you.
Hey, thanks, Tim. JV, I'm going to get a little hot chocolate, too. It's getting pretty chilly out there. Well, hey, those guys just went over the starters and some of the players on the team, but when we come back here on High School Primetime, Steve and I are going to highlight the primetime players. You know it's a big game. Got a lot of primetime players, so High School Primetime, don't go anywhere. We're just in time, presented by Sunbelt Sports. We are at Skelly Stadium on the campus of the University of Tulsa. And, hey, we're here for a big game. 6A state championship brought to you by Cox Communications, Sunbelt Sports. Hey, what a matchup we have. Two good teams, Union Jenks. Met early in the year, but now they're going for all the marbles, the big gold ball. And we talked about in games like this, you're going to have players that's really going to step up and get it done. And like always here on Primetime, we do our high school, our primetime players here. And let's take a look at the primetime players first for the Union Redskins, Steve.
The Redskins, of course, they'll try to avenge that 17-13 loss earlier to Jenks. Mackenzie Adams is the quarterback. He's one of those guys that he has a big 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He does it running the football. He does it throwing the football. He has some good guys to throw to. Here you see him roll out, turn it upfield, get some necessary yardage for a first down. In that contest last week, throws the quick out pass, could do that as well. And then watch this. He looks right all the way, then knows where his man, Glenn, is going to be in the end zone. Touchdown. And Mackenzie Adams is certainly a capable quarterback in this championship game tonight. Tony Moore, the running back, man, we got plenty to see of him last week. He was something else. Toting the ball all night long, doing it with power, doing it with speed. Nice little counter move there. And then, of course, getting a nice hole up that offensive line. They did a great job last week. Shows a little speed out here, has some power. I mean, he's got it all. He's got all the tools. There's no question about that. Tony Moore is going to be very important for this Redskin ball club. Here you see him fighting forward, breaking a couple tackles. He's a dandy, Tony Moore. Watch him tonight.
If they give him a hole, he's going to get through there.
And he doesn't need a hole sometimes either. And the guy who's usually making the hole for him is the guy in front of him, Brad Glenn. Boy, was he was a dynamite performer last week. Here he is catching a ball, tough to bring down, good size, running the football up the middle. There he goes over the top for the touchdown. Watch this one run. He's going to look like Larry Zonka going right up the middle. Look at that. Straight up the middle, good power. He's a dandy. I like Brad Glenn a lot in the defense.
The defense definitely got it done for this team. Really stepped up and did a good job playing great defense. A very good Edmond Santa Fe team.
There was no way that I thought that Santa Fe would be shut out last week, much less held down to just a couple of touchdowns. That Union offense was just unbelievable last week. Less than 100 total yards. Reggie Smith only had 10 yards last week rushing the football.
And when you think about it, you know it was a good game plan, but how big do you think Tony Moore has to be in this game?
Well, I mean, they rely on him a whole lot. So he's going to get his 25-30 carries tonight, and we'll see what the Jenks can do as far as trying to shut that down. But, yeah, he has to have a big game. If they're going to win, he's got to go over 150 yards tonight.
And that's the Union primetime players. Now let's take a look at the Jenks primetime players, and they have plenty. And they're going to start with number 18, probably their most valuable player, Andrew Brewer.
Man, this guy, he is something else to watch all season long, watching him run the football here. Big kid, great speed, great moves, great presence on the field as well. Here you see him get outside, show the speed, long-legged quarterback, gets into the end zone for one of his couple of touchdowns. Then he runs to the left side on a keeper, and that's the touchdown that eventually put him on top last week over the Panthers. Brewer is a very talented quarterback.
Very talented guy, and also, you know, they're going to give it to the big guy down inside that can really run it, number 31, Freddie Carolina.
Is he fun to watch or what, man? He is a good time. Big old Freddie Carolina getting the football, and, man, watch out. If he gets past that line of scrimmage, you don't want to be in the secondary.
And he always falls for it. One thing about him, he always falling for it. And there you see, good agility, outstanding. He has to have a big game tonight also.
Great balance, yeah. Both these running backs are going to be key tonight for both these ball clubs, obviously. Jesse Meyer's favorite target. They've been hooking up since they were in 6th grade together. Like this kid, too. Man, great size for a high school wide receiver. See him here going up and getting the deep ball. Taking it away from the defender. Good target on the sidelines. And again, when you've got size and speed, especially 6'4", 200 pounds at the high school level for a wide receiver, that's something definitely you like to throw to.
And he can definitely get it done. And on the defensive side, I think he's going to have to be key. Phillip Diller, the big guy already committed to Nebraska. He clogs up some holes for this defense.
Double-digit tackles, you know that, and maybe even, you know, more like 14, 15, 18 tackles a game is what he was averaging there for one stretch. He can do it, you know, getting in the backfield, coming up with the sacks, and just a great job. Phillip Diller's going to be a big one here tonight.
Does an outstanding job, and he's a guy that can really get it done for this Jenks team. And there's the primetime players for the Jenks Trojans. You know they have plenty. I think we're going to have some great ones. So let's bring in some more primetime players. We're full of primetime players there. This is the last one right here. We're going to bring in Kathy Burton. She's a superintendent, Dr. Kathy Burton right here of Union. And Ms. Burton, how big is this game for you guys? I mean, I get to visit with you a lot because of the success of your program, but to be able to be in this atmosphere and play your arch rival Jenks, how big is it for your school?
Oh, it's a great thrill for us, and the amazing thing is that we've all kind of become used to these kinds of huge games, and at the high school level, that's just amazing. But it means a lot to our student body. It means a lot to the spirit of our whole year.
I know you're well-traveled. How is the response from people you may know in other states? Because it seems like everybody knows about this rivalry. How big is that?
Oh, it's big. You know, there are people all over the country that watch the Jenks and Union rivalry, and it's just amazing to us. But it gives our students an opportunity to really compete at a high level. So when they go to college, they're more prepared in certain ways.
Well, Dr. Burton, I know you're going to enjoy the game. We appreciate all your time and enjoy seeing you.
Thank you very much, Rob.
All right, that's Dr. Kathy Burton right there. Now let's bring in the man right here, Dr. Kirby Lamb right there. He's for Jenks superintendent. And, hey, you decked out in your Jenks. And just like I asked Dr. Kathy right there, how big is this for your school to be in such a rivalry and you guys play at such a high level to be in a championship game like this?
Well, the rivalry is great. This kind of championship game is unparalleled. But we try to keep it in perspective, too. Monday morning back at Jenks High School, it's going to be business as usual, and the kids understand that.
And when you think about it, I know you see a lot of your students, and I know both schools really excel academically, and that kind of has to really put the icing on the cake to know that you guys can compete at such a high level, but also do well academically.
You're absolutely right, and we do have great ACT scores and merit semifinalists, and we're proud of the breadth of our program because it is varied and offers something for all of our students.
Well, we appreciate all your time, and hey, who's going to win this game tonight?
Well, we sure hope it'll be Jenks, don't we?
All right, well, we appreciate your time right there. Hey, that's high school prime time. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to visit with Cajun Ed. I'm bringing you the Class 6A state championship game between the Union Redskins and the Jenks Trojans.
Jenks Trojans and the number 2 Tulsa Union Redskins. And hi again, everybody, and welcome to Skelly Stadium. Steve Marshall along with J.V. Haney as we get ready for tonight's championship game. These two teams, J.V., met in week 2. Jenks won that game 17-13.
Back on September the 9th, they met at Union Tuttle Stadium, and in the second game, as you said, of the 04 season, and a tremendous defensive play by Andrew Brewer on really almost the last play of the game. Union was driving for what would have been the go-ahead, maybe the winning touchdown. Brewer makes a great interception inside the 10, and that is the type of game I think we'll see here tonight, Steve.
I think this is the game that everybody was looking for your 6A state championship contest. The two powerhouses on the east side of the state. It's a storied matchup between these two ball clubs, and they battled through 5 weeks of preseason, 10 weeks of regular season, 3 weeks of the postseason, and it all culminates here tonight, the 6A state championships right here on Cox Communications. Should be an interesting contest, and with what we saw last week, JV, what are your inclinations going into this week's game?
Well, you know, I have seen so many of the games. This is the 37th game of this series. Jenks holds a 26-10 edge. So many of them have gone to the last play of the game. I think it's the type of a game, Steve, if you try to figure it out, you're just fooling yourself. I think it'll go right down to the very end. And some people think that Union has made tremendous progress since that second game loss to Jenks. Well, time will tell that tonight, but I can say this, that both of these teams are solid from top to bottom on both sides of the football.
The game that was played earlier was played here at Skelly Stadium. Again, Jenks won that one 17-13. Been a big build up to this contest here this evening. The weather is just ideal when you consider the first week of December. The setting is just beautiful here this evening.
Well, you know, they were estimating maybe 40,000 would show up, but I think some of the other playoff games, Victory Christian is playing Berry Hill at Broken Arrow. That takes some people away, but there's still going to be around 20,000 or more here, which just really makes this the marquee high school game in the state of Oklahoma.
All right, two other guys working the sidelines for tonight's contest. First off, let's start with Tim Lasher.
Guys, we're expecting a fantastic football game tonight. It's going to be awesome to watch Jenks and Union go at it once again. The keys for the game for Tulsa Union tonight, Bill Blankenship told me he's got to control the line of scrimmage. Union did a fantastic job of that last week against Edmond Santa Fe, and that's what won them the football game. Second thing they have to do is they've got to get the ball into their playmakers' hands. That's Brock Dixon, Mackenzie Adams, and Tony Moore. They ran all over Santa Fe with that bullying offense this time. And last thing I got to do, they got to stop Andrew Brewer. They don't contain him, they're going to have a long night. Rod, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Now, Jenks' keys to the game. First of all, control. Tony Moore did an outstanding job last week. They have to run the ball. He said they have to get Freddie Carolina established and get him going in some kind of rhythm and win special teams. They don't have the win that they had last week, so special teams could be big. Hey, the atmosphere's electric, Steve. Back up to you.
All right, thank you very much. Jenks won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and it'll be the Trojans kicking off to start the contest. To Tulsa Union. Kick into the end zone. Can't return those. They'll bring it out to the 20 and set up the offense for the Redskins, who got the victory last week 20-0. Their first contest of the playoffs, they beat Owasso, talking about Union now, 48-14. They beat Putnam City 54-7, and last week 20-0 over Santa Fe. Here's the offense. Kyle Crafts, Casey Thurber, Chris Gallagher, Seth Cowan, Matt Romine, and Brad Glenn. The skill players, Mackenzie Adams, Tony Moore, Brock Dixon, Sean Allen, and Austin Boyce. Mackenzie Adams is the man who runs the offense. Tony Moore, that man right there, is the one that makes it go. First play from scrimmage, 6A state championship. Straight ahead give to Brad Glenn. Stacked up, maybe gets a yard or two in the first play from scrimmage.
You know, Brad Glenn has had a great playoff series here, running at fullback for the Union Redskins. Really gives a lot of relief to Tony Moore. Has great hands as well. He can slip out there and catch the pass in the flat, but he is an extremely hard runner. Weighs about 230 pounds.
Defense, Cash Yelly, Zach Casey, Chase Beeler, Tanner Shuck, Philip Dillard, Matt Felty, Cutton, Fouch, James Meyer, and Jackson. Second down 8 after a 2-yard carry. Moore over the left side, and he just does get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. Good look at the Jenks side of the field. Fired up about their defense here early. And if you're a Jenks fan, well, you're thinking this might, and you're hoping this would be an early indication of how your defense is going to stuff the run.
Well, it's certainly setting a good tone, but if you recall back in the semifinals, both these teams at the beginning of their games, Steve, were 3 and out, I think, twice before they really got things rolling. So it's kind of like a boxing match. They're going to feel one another out.
Third down. They did give him a yard on that last play. And Mackenzie Adams steps up, calls timeout, didn't like what he saw. The Jenks defense and the Jenks fan spot.
Well, you know, I think both these quarterbacks here, one has thrown 7 interceptions, one has thrown 6 interceptions, 1,400 and 1,600 yards passing, quite capable of putting the ball in the air. And then, Steve, you give them that great running back that they have in Carolina at Jenks and Moore at Union, then you have the foundation for a very good and a very difficult defense.
Redskins took a timeout here early. You get a good look at the crowd. Expected to be upwards of 20,000 or so here this evening. And again, the weather just perfect for the first weekend in December and a state championship game here on Cox Communications. 3rd and 7 last week when they had to come up with a big play. That's when Adams rolled out to his right, looked right, and then threw back towards the middle to Glenn. We'll see if they don't come with something similar here. 3rd and 7, opening possession of the 6A state championship. Union from their own 23. Pitch it. Moore started to cut inside, then cut back outside. Picks up about 2 yards, but that's it. It'll bring up 4th and 5 in there on the tackle, among others. Number 24, Philip Dillard right there.
Well, we'll call Philip Dillard's name a lot tonight because anytime that there's a pileup around that line, you're going to find Philip Dillard in there on it, and that's the reason why he has made a verbal commitment to play D1 at the University of Nebraska.
Got a lot of guys out here this evening that'll be moving on and playing football at the next level, many of those on the Division I level. Punting situation. Good punt. Jenks clears away from the football, especially after they had the mishap last week on the punt that hit one of the return men's foot. Ends up going all the way to the 28-yard line, 46-yard punt. Bill Blankenship will take that anytime, no return, 46 net yards on the punt. And the Jenks Trojans will set up play 1st and 10, and they'll do so from their own 28-yard line. Alan Trimble, 32-1 in the playoffs.
Is that not just, you know, every time you say that, every time I read it, every time I say it, I wonder, is that really true? But it is. What a remarkable record. 2 great coaching staffs, 2 great head coaches here, and Bill Blankenship at Union, along with the entire staff there at Jenks.
25-11, Union under Blankenship in the playoffs. They're only 1-4 in final competition. Those losses coming to this Trojan ball club. Shotgun formation. Brewer, the quarterback, going to keep it himself and run to the left side. This is what he did so well last week. He'll pick up about 2 yards before he's pushed out of bounds by Tulsa Union.
Well, he was pushed out of bounds by Dominic Franks, but, you know, this is something that I think the Union coaching staff really is afraid of with Andrew Brewer, is the fact that not only is he just a good quarterback, but, Steve, he is fast. He runs a 40 and 4.4, and if he gets to that corner on you, he can really burn you.
Add another 533 yards to that total you saw there. Rushing the football, 8 touchdowns, got a couple last week. Pickup of 2, 2nd and 2 from right at the 30-yard line. Power formation, Meyer out wide to the right. Brewer takes the snap, drops. Lots of time, going deep, looking for Meyer. It's up, he's got it. First down all the way down to the Union 25-yard line.
Jesse Meyer, and the greatest asset he has. Now, a lot of time back there for Brewer, and he can throw the ball, he can pinpoint it. But the thing about Jesse Meyer, he's 6'4", Steve, and he's very difficult for smaller defensive backs to control. And you can see right here how he goes up and catches the football. Got great concentration up above the 2 defenders there, really almost into triple coverage, but he went up there like a basketball player, rebounded it. Great receiver in Jesse Meyer.
45-yard completion last week. Look at those numbers. And had a very similar catch against the Panthers. Here's our first flag of the night, coming from one of the line judges. First possession of the game for the Trojans. You see them clapping, so they get the early premonition that it will be against Tulsa Union.
Dead ball. Encroachment. White. 5-yard penalty.
Offsides against Union. And I think already, JV, Jenks has more yards than Santa Fe ended up with last week. Union defense was so stout. And Santa Fe also with a diverse offense, but in different ways is Jenks diverse. And Andrew Brewer certainly lends a lot to that. 1st and 10 from right at the 20-yard line. After the 5-yard penalty, they give up the middle, maybe a yard or 2, but that would be it. Big number 31, Freddie Carolina.
Chase Nelson in there for the Union Redskin, making the first contact, and then a host of others came through. Nelson, 6'3", 250-pound junior defensive lineman.
Saw the numbers on Carolina in last week's contest. 205 yards rushing the football. He did his damage early, and Brewer did his late. Pickup of 1, 2nd and 4. Trojans twins to the right. Brewer fakes the give to Carolina. He is pressured, and he's going to be taken down. Great play out there. Number 35, Jake Smith. First man in on the tackle.
Jake Smith's been a very solid player throughout the year for the Union Redskins, but here a little protection, it kind of breaks down, and then suddenly Jake Smith just really comes through. 210-pound senior.
Smith coming up from his linebacker position that time. Union forcing the issue, sending the linebacker, getting the blitz, getting in there, and getting the sack. Makes it 3rd and 15. Carolina in the backfield. Whistles blow and stop play. Again, coming from the line judge on the far side. There's Bill Blankenship. And the referees and officials will sort it out. And we'll get our call and see where this will put the ball for the Trojans.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
So they got it down to the 19-yard line. But then a sack and a penalty has it back at the 35.
You know, there's been a lot written the last 2 weeks, or really the last 3 weeks, Steve, that Union's weakness maybe was to defend against the pass, and it looks like that really Brewers trying to exploit that at this particular point in the first quarter.
3rd and 20. Meyer, bottom of your screen, wide left. Brewer gives to Carolina, and he's got some running room inside the 25. Pulls his way down to the 22-yard line. He'll pick up 13, and that'll make it 4th and 7. And now we'll see what the Trojans want to do.
Brock Dixon along with Gilcrease making the tackle in there. I think you can see in this replay just how difficult that Freddie Carolina is to bring down. You've got to hit him low, and you got to hit him hard. Most of the time, you better have some help when you hit him.
So field goal situation. And on to do the kicking, Stephen Woodward. Spot the ball down at about the 29, a 39-yard attempt to try and put the Trojans on top. Snap back, ball down. Woodward plenty of distance. On the way, up and good. Trojans strike first. 39-yard field goal from Stephen Woodward. And Jenks goes on top 3-0. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the kickoff right after this. On-yard field goal from Stephen Woodward. Puts the Trojans on top 3-0.
You know, again, we say this every time we do Jenks, but when you look at Stephen Woodward's kick in there, his father was one of the greatest kickers you've ever seen in soccer for the old Tulsa Roughnecks. And gosh, he gets that natural, and only a junior, got another year to go.
Deep man for Tulsa Union. There you get a look at Dominique Franks. And here we go. Redskins about to get the ball for the second time. It won't be on a kick return. They'll set it up once again at the 20-yard line. And we talked about it last week. What a great weapon that is, JV. Let's take a look at that scoring drive for the Jenks Trojans as they got on the board first and take the early 3-0 lead. Big play of the drive, big pass, 45 yards to Jesse Meyer. Goes up among 2-3 defenders, comes down with the football. Carolina on the 3rd and long play gets them in field goal range. And then Woodward bangs it in from 39 yards out, and the Trojans lead it 3-0. Second possession now for the Redskins. It was 3 and out first go round. See how they fare here. Mackenzie Adams, the quarterback. Single back is Tony Moore. Take the counter, roll it right. Got a man out of the backfield. That's Glenn. First down yardage and then some running room. Glenn still on his feet, finally taken down at about the 38-yard line. 18-yard pickup on a little pass to Glenn out of the backfield.
Andrew Brewer along with a number of others in there, including Bobby Moore, making the tackle here on Glenn after his reception. And again, he's a big fella, and he's going to pick up a yard or two after they get him.
See Andrew Brewer, the quarterback and secondary player for the Trojans, also in there on that tackle. Glenn was a very integral part last week in that Union running attack. He's the fullback lined up now after an 18-yard pickup and a first down. Tony Moore gets the carry into the line of scrimmage, and 21 football players are in a very small spot right there, JV.
I want to tell you, tackle to tackle, that's a good defensive line and a good offensive line, and it's just hard to gain an advantage by either one of them, Steve.
So a short pickup of 3 on the play for Tony Moore. Big guys up front again. Crafts and Thurber, Gallagher, Cowan, Romine. Trying to make some running room for Tony Moore. Thus far on the ground, it's early, but he's not had too much success here so far. Pitch it out left side. Jenks is all over that play. He's going down for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. Credit number 90 in there first, Cash Yaley. He's the one that forced it back inside and then ended up being part of the tackle.
Well, he's certainly one of the better defensive ends that you're going to see playing Class 6A ball, and you can see he come off the line of scrimmage and got into the backfield. He was the one who slowed him down enough to the pursuit got him, but Cash Yaley was the one who really started it.
That'll make it 3rd and 10 after a loss of 3 on that play. Redskins trying to get untracked here in the early going. Send trips out to the right side. Their go-to man throwing the football is number 86. Glenn will look for him. Long throw. Adams going downfield. Lots of players down there. Knocked down incomplete. I think both sides are clamoring for offensive or defensive pass interference on that one.
Jesse Meyer was the defensive back that really got in there. Once again, Jesse Meyer, 6'4", so he can do pretty much a lot of damage to keep the ball from being received. The receiver in there, Brock Dixon, just wasn't tall enough to go up there and take the ball away from him.
So a punting situation for the Redskins once again. There's Alan Trimble.
And that was the look of concentration, wasn't it?
You bet. Jenks with no pressure. Low line drive type kick that takes an early Union bounce and is going to roll dead at about the 26-yard line. With 4:30 left to go here in the first half of play, first quarter of play, the Jenks Trojans lead the 6A state championship 3-0. Marched right down the field, and then the Redskins turned them back and allowed just the field goal. 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Carolina the single back set. Look at the first down carry, goes straight into the line. He's upended, gets maybe a yard. Let's take a look at the offensive starters for the Jenks Trojans. Offense up front, Chase Beeler, Cody Ferrier, Jared Delacerda, Chad Doris, Cody Combs, Ben Cutton, Andrew Brewer, Tony Gillespie, Freddie Carolina, Tyler Graves, and Teddy Andrus. Found themselves trailing late in the contest with 2:44 to go last week. Got the football and marched down the field to get to this state championship game. This time Brewer takes it, chooses to follow his running back Carolina, gets outside. They're going to mark him out of bounds at about the 34-35-yard line. Still about a yard shy of first down necessary yardage.
Tackle made in there by Brock Dixon, but once again, you're seeing the speed that Andrew Brewer has. Once he gets to the corner, then he's going to pick up some yardage.
Redskin defense that shut out Santa Fe last week. Lane Horton, Chase Nelson, Terrell Jamo, Tola Jamo, Jake Smith, Antonio Graham, Clint Bales. He had a big game last week. Ricky Gardner, Brock Dixon, Chris Gilchrist, and Dominic Franks. 3rd and 1 for the Trojans. Trips right. Tight end right, Carolina. In the backfield. It's a give to Freddie Carolina. Straight ahead, he submarines through and gets the first down yardage necessary.
Jake Smith, the linebacker, making the tackle in there for the Union Redskins.
Thought he had enough for the first down. So the Trojans will continue this drive. Ball spotted just shy of the 37-yard line. Brewer comes back in from the sidelines with the play. Carolina 137 yards the first time these two teams met. 1,695 yards rushing on the season with 23 touchdowns. Rice and OSU, North Texas, Wyoming. Taking a look at him. Brewer keeps it again. Left side, no running room. Flag flies from the referee in the backfield. That's usually mean we're going to get a holding and bring it back.
And once again, Brock Dixon coming up and making the contact to drive him out of bounds.
Get a look from the Union perspective. Referee is right back there just looking at everything develop as they swept that ball to the left side. Somebody grabbed hold of somebody. They're going to bring this one back.
Sometimes that's real difficult, isn't it? As you're making a block, you're on the move, and you just get a hold of a guy and hold on to him.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Trojans started the postseason. They opened up against Ponca City in week 1. They won that game 42-17. Then played Westmore. The Jaguars led that game 14-7 early in the fourth quarter, and then Jenks just turned it into overdrive and went on and won that 34-14. Trailed with 2:44 to go last week before finally beating Putnam City North back 29-23. First and 20. Trojans now from their own 28. First down play, give to Carolina. He gets 10 straight up the middle, power running. Freddie Carolina, number 31.
Dominic Franks making the final contact there on the tackle, but you look, nice hole opened up in front, and you can see arms sliding off of Freddie Carolina. I mean, he is just he's just like a big Sherman tank going through there. You have to really get down on him and square up on him if you're going to make the tackle.
You or Tim or Rod, somebody made the point last week, and I looked at him on the sidelines before. I mean, obviously, he's a big boy, and he's a wide big boy. So when you talk about wrapping him up, sometimes you can't get both arms around him.
No, and if he's moving, it's even more difficult.
This guy's hard to catch because he's so fast. Andrew Brewer into the secondary. He may go. Franks with a diving tackle. Saves a touchdown because Brewer was headed to the house.
Well, once again, you see the good fake and the respect in there that they have for Freddie Carolina. But just raw speed, it is just tough to catch Brewer. He can really go down the field.
40-yard pickup, Andrew Brewer straight up the middle. Great disguise, fakes to give to Carolina, keeps it himself, gets a great hole, then turns on the Jets and gets it all the way down to the 24. So big plays so far here early for the Trojans.
And that was a great play by Dominic Franks because he certainly saved a touchdown.
From the Redskin 24, it's Carolina straight ahead. And he barrels his way inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Looked like he had 3, ended up with 6 or 7.
Number 96, Chase Nelson there making the initial contact, but it looked like that he was just bowled over by Carolina as he went by.
So the Redskin defense once again must rise to the occasion. They turned them back, allowed just a field goal first drive. They'd love to do the same here. Twins to the right, Myers in the slot. Carolina running it through the middle, getting it inside the 15, down near first down yardage. Brock Dixon in on the tackle for Tulsa Union. A little surprised, JV, and maybe how well the Trojans are moving the ball early?
No, I think either one of these teams, Steve, nothing really surprised me. And I know people say, well, get off the fence. Well, nothing really surprises me. Two good football teams, two great coaching staffs, and no, nothing really surprises me.
Alan Trimble out on the field getting the timeout. Saw something he didn't like. We will come back. It'll be 3rd and 1 from the Redskin 15-yard line. Trojans lead it 3-zip. Imploring his defense, Alan Trimble, on a 3rd and 1, wants his offense to convert. Brewer takes the snap. He'll keep it himself. I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it. He needed to get inside the 14-yard line. And I think they're going to spot him. You can hear the moan from the Trojan fans as the referee and the officials there took it and moved it back. Nice play defensively. Who was it that stepped up there in the hole? Number 32 stepping in there, Antonio Graham, and that was a big-time play right there by Antonio Graham. Well, these coaches are playing it like it's a championship game, using timeouts here early as we get ready to go to the second quarter of play. 3-0. Trojans on top of the Redskins, 3-0.
Get ready to ride. The new 2005 Ford Super Duties are out, and they're more capable, tougher, stronger than ever, with more horsepower, towing, and payload capacity than Dodge. So, when Dodge says their truck can go head-to-head with Ford Super Duty, how do we respond?
Now that's a lot of bull.
When you compare Ford to Dodge, Super Duty is over $500 less. The next Ford Super Duty. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Looks like Dad's putting the 4th generation to work too. Remember, you'll pay only our factory direct price in Tulsa, Bixby, and Springdale, Arkansas.
A little quiet right now, trailing 10-0. There's a look at the total offense to this point. As much as Union dominated last week, Jenks is turning the trick on them this week.
They really have. And again, now here's a possession that the Union defense has to stand up, because Jenks has scored on both their previous possessions that they've had the football. And they score on the 3rd possession, and then things really become very, very critical for the Redskins.
All right, Trojans come out 1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line with great field position. Carolina lone setback. Brewer fakes the handout, now looks long, and he's got a man out there. And it's intercepted. Great job on defense. On the takeaway, coming up with the big play, number 31, Clint Bales. Big plays last week, huge play this week.
You know, sometimes it takes a big play like that to kind of get things going for a team. We'll see what happens here, but this looked like it was going to be a sure touchdown when Brewer released the ball. Got a little hit right there as he tried to make the catch, talking about Ben Cutton. We'll get another look at it. You practice that Oscar catch all the time. It's up in the air. Great concentration in there by Bales, and gives Union new life, Steve.
Franks with a timely hit forced Bales to force the receiver to cough the ball up, and then Bales was there to pick it off. First big play of the night for the Redskins. Running play right side, a yard perhaps. Tackle in there for the Trojans, number 41, Sean Lampkin.
Zach Casey also in there on from his defensive line position, and those down linemen defensively had just been outstanding for the Jenks Trojans.
Well, the Redskins look to build on the interception when it looked like the Trojans were maybe going in to lead at 17-0. Pickup of 1 on the first down carry makes it 2nd and 9. From the corner, nice little bubble pass. Glenn's out there and can't hang on. They caught him on the blitz but couldn't convert. Trojans have been tough on defense all night long. Take a look at some of the things that they have done stopping Tony Moore first and foremost. When he gets hit, it's just not one guy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then coming up and making a nice play. Defensing the pass, Jesse Meyer coming up from the corner to make a good defensive play. 3rd and 9, Redskins. Looking to the sidelines for a change of play. Adams makes the audible. Straight drop, wants to throw. Fly pattern, right side, Glenn goes up, and he comes down with the football. Sean Allen rather, with the reception. Looked like it was going to be incomplete, maybe intercepted. How he came up with it, I don't know. 33-yard pickup.
Well, Sean Allen, again, he's 6'4", and he's much like his counterpart for Jenks in the fact that, like Myers, he can go up there and take that ball like a basketball rebounder, and that time just pure strength. He took it away from Ben Cutton.
Watch him go up and over. It's great timing.
Yes, it is.
I thought it was broken up maybe, or I thought it was intercepted. Allen comes away. Huge play. Allen on the season, 27 grabs, 328 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Here's a reverse, and it's one-on-one and taken down. Good execution. Brock Dixon coming up and making the tackle. Looked like there was a lot more there when it first started. Ends up with about a 7-yard gain.
Brock Dixon, 6'2", 185-pound senior. Plays a great defensive safety. Also does a good job at wide receiver for the Redskins.
Dixon goes out wide right. 2nd and 5. They gave him 5 on that first down carry. Try to mix things up. Soften up the middle so Tony Moore can get more damage done. And he's going to get out across the 40. Needs to get to about the 38-yard line. Still about 2 yards shy. 8:07 left to go here, first half. All Trojans until the big interception by Bales. 8 carries, 6 yards. Another big third down and 2 play. Moore straight ahead, trying to get outside, trying to break free, lunges forward, and I think that may be enough to get the first down. Now, it all depends upon the spot, of course, and whether or not they ruled his knee was down. Looks like he got a pretty good spot. First down. Big first down for the Redskins.
It really looked like Jeff Jackson had him back there behind the line of scrimmage, but again, more strength was able to get him through. Didn't get the pursuit that time, the Jenks defense didn't, that they had been getting.
So the Redskins putting, at least to this point, a small drive together. The big 33-yard catch and another first down. Those are total first downs. First and 10. Adams wants to throw. He's got a man wide open down the right side. Throws it up there again for Glenn. He's got it. Touchdown, Union. Brad Glenn with a 38-yard touchdown reception. They tried that play a little earlier. It was open. They just couldn't make connection. Watch Glenn right there from his fullback position. And he gets out against the linebackers and gets into the end zone. Big touchdown for the Redskins.
And Tony Moore did a good job staying in the backfield and giving Mackenzie Adams time to hit Brad Glenn down that right sideline.
Extra point attempt on the way. Up and through. So just when it looked like Jenks was going to stretch their lead, a big turnover. Redskins taking the distance. They get in the end zone. It's 10-7. Trojans on top.
Brad Glenn to get open and putting the ball in perfect position for the first Union score. Bill Blankenship has been telling his team, you got to want it, guys. And a couple calls didn't go his way. He told the officials, you guys got to want it too. Guys, back up to you.
All right, Tim, thanks. That's right. This is a championship caliber field for everybody, ourselves included. Hopefully you're enjoying the broadcast here tonight on Cox Communications. Great crowd on hand. We know there's a great crowd out there in our TV audience as well.
And Steve, when you get to this point, no holds barred for either team. They're going to empty the playbooks. They're going to do everything that they possibly can to win the football game.
Short kick, fair catch called for. Far sideline over there. And the Trojans will get it first and 10. And they're going to spot it about the 27-yard line. Take a look at that scoring drive for the Redskins. And it all started with the big interception. Now that pass reception, it looked to be, could have made it 17-0. Instead, the big turnover, and then this huge catch by Sean Allen. And he really did take it away on the way down. He did not have that ball in the air. And then Adams, you saw the pump. As Tim said, he waited, found Glenn, touchdown Redskins, and it's 10-7. Carolina, first down carry. Stuffed. And funny how things change in just a matter of moments, JB.
And you know, it can all start with just a good play, whether it's offense or defense, but the defensive play that was made by Bales just suddenly seemed to be just a shot of adrenaline for the Union Redskins.
Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11. Trojans break the huddle. Myers in the slot right. Brewer barks the signals. And a whistle. May have been the play clock. Redskin fans were quiet for a while. Let's get the call from our official.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Illegal procedure. And that'll mark it back 5 yards, make it 2nd down and 11. Or 16. Penalties. Trojans a couple. Redskins 1.
A rather error-free game considering all that's at stake in this one.
Brewer looks over the defense. Takes the snap. Rolls right. He wants to run it. Looks for a seam. Finds a little one. Not a lot. And that's going to bring up 3rd and probably 11 or 12 yards. Number 35 coming up and helping on the tackle, Jake Smith, so he's recovered from that vicious block he suffered earlier.
Well, you take a tough linebacker, he'll come back, won't he?
Every time.
If there's not a bone sticking out or something of that nature, he's going to get that back in there. And certainly Jake Smith recovered rather quickly, but that was about as good a blindside hit as you'll find.
It's 3rd and 12 for the Trojans. Brewer takes the snap, looks for the over-the-middle screen there to Meyer. Pass was low, incomplete, 4th down. Punting situation to give it right back to the Redskins.
And that's about the only situation that Jesse Myers won't catch a football, is that's down on the shoe tops, because he is a very sure-handed receiver.
First punt for the Trojans coming up. And we'll see where the Redskins will get it with this final 5:21 left to go in the first half, trailing by 3. But momentum has shifted drastically to the Union sidelines. High snap and a great punt. Franks takes it all the way back at the 27-yard line. Breaks a couple of tackles, gets free, look out. Finally taken down far side by Tanner Shuck, but in Jenks Trojan territory, 1st and 10.
No, that's really a good return by Dominic Franks, because he just didn't take off in a sprint. He kind of waited and picked up some blocks, broke a couple of tackles, made a juke step there, picked up another block, and was able to get the ball back to midfield, but a very excellent return.
They'll actually spot it at the Union 49-yard line. I likened Union to an undefeated prize fighter who got stunned and was up against the ropes. Took a while to clear his head. They got the interception. Now the head is cleared and they're ready to resume a neutral fight. Right now trailing 10-7, but they have the football right near midfield. The advantage to take the lead.
And Steve, you have to think that this is, from here on in, we're going to see what we thought we were going to see at the beginning of the football game.
Empty backfield. Adams wants to throw. Over the middle has Glenn again. Glenn into the secondary, inside the 20-yard line.
Well, again, he comes slipping out of that backfield and certainly has the speed and the quickness to get on and get in the open. But keep in mind, as a baseball player, he's got those good hands, and he watched that one right in. Finally was brought down in there.
He doesn't look like a baseball player, JB.
No, I know it. He was brought down by Cashy Ailey that finally brought him down.
See, now he's lining up, and that's where he was in that last one. They had the empty backfield. He lines up as a tight end as well. He caught the pass out for the touchdown out of the backfield, that last one from the tight end spot. And here comes Tony Moore breaking tackles down inside the 11-yard line. And the Union fans are loving it.
Well, when you come to watch these two teams play, just don't try to figure it out. For one quarter, it looked like that this could just be a runaway. And now suddenly momentum has changed, and it's going in the other direction, just as the way it went in the Jenks direction the first quarter.
I think both sidelines just got a sideline warning, trying to keep coaches and players on the sidelines.
Difficult to do in a state title game, isn't it?
That's 2nd and 2 at the 11, and Adams wants to take a timeout. 2nd and 2 from the Jenks 11-yard line. Moore, the lone setback. Glenn is tight end right. Moore up the middle. Hole was there, then closed quickly. But a good strong run all the way down to about the 7. Should be enough for first down yardage.
Matt Felty was the first to hit him, the linebacker, number 44. But this is the Tony Moore that we saw run last weekend, where if you tackled him, jumped on him, he still went ahead and powered his way for 2 or 3 yards.
That makes it 1st and goal. It was all Jenks the first quarter and a half. Union has rallied, threatening to take the lead. 1st and goal from the 8. Moore straight ahead and driven right back. Big time play. Coming up big, number 24, Philip Dillard.
And Sean Lampton was the one who really got in there and kind of held him up a little bit until Dillard came along and made the close on him. And that is a close that Dillard puts on you, isn't it? You see Lampton getting up there under the pile.
They're going to actually call it a yard loss. 6'2", 245. Verbal commitment to Nebraska. First signing day for the high school players, February 2nd. Second and goal from the 9. Adams, quick snap, Moore, right side, inside the 5. Hammered and finally taken down at the 3. Another big hit, but a good strong run by Tony Moore. There's some hitting going on down there, JV.
Hey, listen, Tim Lasher was talking about smash mouth football. We are seeing it tonight. We're seeing kids that are really competing for that goal ball.
3 minutes remaining. First half, 6A state championship.
And Steve, I guess you know that these teams started preparing the day after they lost last year. So this has been a 12-month trip for both ball clubs to get to this point.
Third and goal from the 2. Moore tried to get outside, dives for the end zone. He's in, touchdown. Great effort again by Tony Moore, giving that little extra effort and getting into the end zone. It wasn't easy. Redskins go on top 13-0, look to add the extra point.
And it really appeared that Tony Moore was going to be stopped about a yard short, but suddenly got that little extra burst of energy to get it in.
Flags fly, so we'll wait to get the call from the official. Apparently against the Trojans.
Dead ball. Encroachment on the defense. Penalties decline.
Well, they'll decline it and then look to knock it through the uprights. And it's no good. How about that? That could be telling. It leaves it at a one-possession game as far as field goals. Here's the touchdown run by Moore. Looks like he's bottled up there, and then he just lunges for the end zone. I wonder if the ball really did break the plane there. He got close enough. It's called the touchdown. And the extra point is missed, and that makes it a 13-10 Union lead. So back and forth. And we've Jenks early and Union since.
We've seen so many of these, Steve, where that extra point just suddenly down in that fourth quarter looms so big. And we'll have to wait and see on this one, but you really hate to have that 1 point taken away and put a one-possession game back into the picture.
2:40 left to go here first half, and you know from last week, 2:40 is about the time that the Trojans had in the contest to avoid elimination last week, and they made it in easy fashion.
Well, I just started to say we have seen them march the length of the football field in just a few plays. We know the capability of them doing it. Well, they demonstrated in the first period just how powerful they were and how they could control the football. But now the challenge is in the Trojan end of the court.
Kickoff coming. Short kick. Cutton's going to take it at the 16. Goes right side, and he was taken down immediately. Nice special teams play there. Lance Barber, number 4. Let's go down to Tim Lasher on the sidelines. Tim?
Guys, remember, you're on a collegiate football field here. The goalposts are 6 feet thinner than they are over at Broken Arrow High School, where we played last week. So if you barely miss an extra point, it would have been good on high school goalposts, but here in the college level, the guys got to play like they're big time. They got to get the ball down the middle, because that never changes.
Great point, Tim. 13-10 after that missed extra point. And the Trojans get it with 2:35 left to go here in the first half. Jenks still has 2 timeouts remaining. Look at the total yards. First quarter offense anyway. And the second quarter offense. Brewer takes the snap, keeps it himself. Tries the right side. Nope, not there, and taken down. There's that man again, Clint Bales.
Clint Bales has really had a great year at Union High School on the defensive side of the football, and that's the second real big play he's made tonight. That interception that got the Redskins going, and then dropping them in there for a little loss. Why, he's certainly doing his job.
Gain of 1 on the play. Out wide to the right side. Brad Lucia. Carolina gets the handoff. Flag comes in from the sideline. And we'll wait and get the call from the official. Minute 54 to go here, first half. Jenks led it 10-0. Union has answered with the next 13 points.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
A penalty against the Trojans marks them back 5 yards. And you wonder as a coach what makes things go so well in the first quarter, and then what happened in the second quarter?
Well, you know, that's hard to explain other than to say one word. That's momentum, and the Bales interception turned momentum to Union.
2nd and 15. Brewer keeps it, gets the block from Carolina, gets the sideline, and finally run out of bounds. Spot him down at about the 29. And that's going to be about 3 yards shy of first down yardage. Nice seal block there by Freddie Carolina. Allowed Brewer to get outside to the left and race for the sidelines.
Well, anytime Brewer hits to that corner, there is a potential 6 points in front of him because he just got the speed and the quickness to make the turn, and once he gets out there, it's awful difficult.
3rd and 3 coming up. Trojans again still have 2 timeouts left. Twins right. Meyer wide left. Straight drop by Brewer. Over the middle, deflected and nearly intercepted. You know who made that play? Clint Bales.
Clint Bales is in there again. I'll tell you what, he has really got a knack for being around where the football is.
Consecutive, well, after it was 10-0 Jenks, you take a look at the replay again, and Bales is just all over this thing. He nearly jumped in front and took it away.
He really did, and he almost reacted quick enough to get back and get another Oski.
After Jenks made it 10-0 in their first 2 possessions, first play of a drive interception, 3 and out, 3 and out. Snap back. Redskins going to get the ball back with about 1:20 to play. It goes out of bounds. See where the side judge will spot it as he gets out, and we'll spot it at the 42-3 line. Down to Rod Thompson.
Hey, Steve, right now on the Jenks sideline right now, trying to keep their composure. Doing those 2 big possessions by Union when they punched it in the end zone. A little bit confusion on defense. Now they're trying to get it. Coach Tremble telling his team, you know, when they got up and scored, he said, hey, guys, if you think this game is over, you better get it together and get back going. They know Union would respond. So trying to keep the composure here, get in halftime, make some adjustments. Like you said, a heavyweight fight is going on here tonight, guys.
You see Rod right there right by Coach Trimble. Just tap him on the shoulder, Rod. Give him a couple play suggestions.
Well, the play of Brad Glenn has really been the difference here in the first half, coming from the tight end and then coming out of the backfield for those 2 big receptions.
From their own 43-yard line, Adams avoids the rush. There's Glenn again, wide open, one-on-one. Can he break the tackle? Racing for the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. I think the Union offense has found a go-to guy tonight.
Well, he has certainly. We just talked about the 2, and now he comes right back and shows us what he can do in a 3rd situation. But what is good is after he gets the ball, he fights off the defenders there. Just kind of makes a little spin move there and gets rid of 1 tackler. Jeff Jackson stiff arms another, gets into the end zone.
It's almost like he knew he wasn't fast enough to outrun everybody, so he was going to turn around and club him off. Extra point this time is up and through. And we have a Redskin uprising. Union on top 20-10. A smile from Coach Blankenship. Remember, not too long ago, he wasn't very happy. Wow, what a turn of events. Just when you think you got the game figured out, well, the interception to turn it all around.
We talked about that, didn't we, Steve?
Sure did.
That if you think you can figure this game out, then you are truly guessing. I know it was fun. I know so many people in both communities, and downstairs before the ball game when they're coming in early, why everyone's got reasons why their team's going to win. They said, "What do you think?" I said, "I wouldn't have the slightest." The only thing I know is we're going to see a great football game. And
here's the pass. Glenn catches it, fights off the tackle. Now he just turns around and makes sure, changes hands.
And that was stiff arm was to Philip Dillard, wasn't it? Number 24, look, coming up behind.
Switches hands right there. Yes, it is. Great eye, JV. Great camera work.
My goodness.
How about that?
Now we got to see what happens to Bill Blankenship here on this.
Kickoff taken at about the 16 and then swarmed under at about the 23-yard line. Brandon McLaurin. Well, we kind of made the analogy to a boxer, JV. It looks like, you know, the heavyweight contender was stunned early, got off the ropes, and now he's dishing out a little of his own.
He really is, but I've seen too many of these games. Don't think the Trojans are going to take this line down. I think we're going to have a lot more surprises here in the final 24 minutes of play.
Williams had a huge night. Minute 6 left to go. 1st and 10, Trojans from their own 23-yard line. First down play. Give to Carolina. Hit in the backfield, breaks the tackle, and then still gets forward and is going to get about 4 or 5 yards, and a great job again by Freddie Carolina.
And it seems like here, even though it's a closing minute of the first half, that Jenks has come right back out and is trying to establish a little dominance again on the running game.
Give him 5 on that first down carry. Brewer rolls left. Wants to throw. Here comes the pressure. Turns and throws it up into an empty spot on the field. Incomplete. And that'll bring up 3rd and 5 with 27 seconds left to go before halftime.
And you can see Brewer, he's looking for his favorite receiver down there, Jesse Meyer, who was going down the far side, but just didn't have enough time to zero in on him.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 5. And again, we mentioned, after scoring their first 2 possessions, first play of their 3rd drive was intercepted, then 3 and out, another 3 and out. And if they don't convert here, it'll be a 3rd consecutive. Meyer, top of your screen to the left. Carolina in the backfield. Brewer out of the shotgun. 3rd and 5. It's Carolina. First down yardage. Across the 35 to the 37. Stop the clock, move the change. 22 seconds left.
And you can see just how punishing Freddie Carolina is here, because he will take on a Union one-on-one and go right on over him. And that was, who was that, Brock Dixon?
Yeah.
And you don't run over Brock very often, but Freddie Carolina just really can put his 235, 40, 50, whatever he weighs. You know, we get these weights at the beginning of the year coming out of those August practices, and sometimes they're just not real accurate at this point in time.
I know the article in the paper today was saying he was 260. That's
I wouldn't argue with it.
No, I wouldn't either. And to think of a 260-pound tailback at the high school level, unbelievable.
and you're a 185-pound defensive back.
Something else. Yeah, you don't want to be giving up 75 pounds.
No, that's why you're on your back a lot of the time, because he will put you there.
Trojans take another timeout, leaves them with 1, so both teams now with a single timeout remaining. Puts Bill Blankenship on the sidelines. His team trailed early 10-zip. Looked like they were maybe going to go down 17-0. But what looked to be a pass completion turned out to be intercepted, and since then, it's been all Redskins.
Well, sometimes it takes something like that to really turn it around, and you'd have to credit Clint Bales because of his concentration there, Steve. He stayed right with it and got the deflection, and everything has gone Union's way since.
1st and 10 for the Trojans, 22 seconds to go before halftime. Very familiar formation for the Trojans. Carolina single back, shotgun. Twins left. Brewer looked like he wanted to throw and then decided to run. And big number 96 jumped in there.
Chase Nelson.
Yeah.
Now, Chase Nelson had a couple of blows delivered on him in the early going, but he was able to come back here and make a great tackle.
This is the Union defense we saw last week. And that's it. That's the end of the first half of play, ending on a big defensive play by Chase Nelson. So it was Jenks the first quarter. They led it 10-0. Union gets 20 unanswered points in the second quarter, and they lead it at the halftime intermission in the 6A state championship game, 20-10. Let's go down to Tim Lasher.
Guys, we got Bill Blankenship with us, Coach. Rough first quarter, second quarter came on like gangbusters.
Tale of two quarters, wasn't it? I tell you, I thought we were really wide-eyed in the first quarter, and Jenks took it to us, and then I think we really answered, and that really gave us a lot of confidence.
Talked a lot about the players that had to play well tonight. Mackenzie Adams, Tony Moore, Brad Glenn's coming up really big right now, as is the passing game.
Well, I told you I thought Brad had to get a lot of touches, and they're going to crowd the box to stop the running game, and it makes them a little susceptible back there. So we'll see what adjustments we make.
All right, Coach, good luck. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Tim and Bill Blankenship at halftime. What kind of song will Coach Blankenship be singing after another 24 minutes of football? We will certainly find that out. Keep it right here on Cox Communications. Right now, the Redskins on top of the Trojans, 20-10. 45-yard reception that resulted in a 39-yard field goal by Stephen Woodward. Jenks led it 3-0. Freddie Carolina breaking some tackles, getting into the secondary. And then Brewer busts loose. Finally taking down a diving tackle right there by Dominic Franks. But just the same, Freddie Carolina would take it in for the touchdown, and it was 10-0 Trojans, and right there, it looked like the Trojans might walk. But Union had other ideas. This man right here, Brad Glenn, has had a big night. That might be his shortest game of the night. And then the play of the game right to this point, an interception. Had he caught that and gone in, it was 17-0 Jenks. Instead, it stops the drive. Redskins get the ball back. And a nice job by the quarterback. Mackenzie Adams finds Brad Glenn for the first of 2 touchdowns. And then down the middle, Glenn gets big yardage. Tony Moore taking it in for the second score for the Redskins. They went on top 13-10, missed the extra point. And then Adams rolling to his right. You can see Glenn at the bottom of your screen. He's open again. He's going to break a tackle there, and then watch him stiff arm Philip Dillard, the Oklahoma Defensive Player of the Year last year. Gets into the end zone, and that's where we stand.
But Union is up 210 to 158, but the passing has been the big deal right there. 176 yards passing, and of course 144 of those goes to Brad Glenn. Turnovers, 1 for Jenks, and that was a big one made in there by Bales when he got the interception, and 7 points off of turnovers. 2 distinct separate quarters.
No question about that. As we looked at,
we said heavyweight fight. First quarter, you guys come out. Second quarter, they have a big quarter. What do you have to do in the third quarter?
Well, we definitely got to cover number 37. Bill's done a good job running a couple of wrinkles, getting him open. So we got to prevent the big play and make Tony Moore beat us with those shorter runs. And then offensively, we've got to come out and have some first down production. They've done a good job with some run blitzes early. So we got to have better first downs and just come out and keep battling.
All right, Coach, good luck in a second.
Thank you.
Back up to you, Steve.
All right, thanks, Rod. Interesting how, the rivalry is such that the coaches call each other by their first name. Bill's able to get a couple of wrinkles in there and get Glenn open. It's a very heated rivalry, but on a friendly type basis.
It really is. It's a very clean rivalry, and if you notice the kids, I'm sure that they date back and forth, and on one side of the street they go to Jenks, the other side of the street they go to Union. So it's just been a type of rivalry that you enjoy watching.
Great crowd on hand here tonight. Great first half of football. Although if you're in a 10-point Redskin advantage. Good foot into the ball. It will be returned. On the far side, hurdling a couple would-be tackers, Brandon McLaurin, 170-pound junior return man, will set it up for Jenks. 1st and 10 from about the 19-yard line.
Well, it's always interesting to see what's going to happen here in the first few plays, to see if the tempo and see if the momentum can carry over from the second quarter. And it won't take long to find out either.
All right. Trojans come out from the sideline. get the play, go straight into formation. Trips to the right side. Carolina in the backfield. Brewer fakes the give, keeps it himself, tries left side, got running room. Brewer down the sideline. He'll get a good 12 or 13 yards. There is a flag on the play back at about the 23. Hold everything.
Again, you know, you just can't emphasize enough how quick and the speed that Brewer has.
Penalty against the Trojans. That'll negate the gain and march things back.
You know, that rule just about eliminated the wishbone offense, didn't it? The chop block or the blocking below the waist, which you almost had to do with the wishbone and smaller people.
Block below the waist on the offense. Half the distance to go. Repeat, first down.
So that'll march it back to the 12-yard line and make it 1st and 17. Half the distance to the goal. And the Trojans break huddle. Meyer goes wide to the left, top of your screen. Brewer, the quarterback, takes the snap and drops the throw. Looking, nowhere to go. And now throws it away. He's taken down in the end zone, and a flag comes down. Looks like it could be roughing the passer, or it could be intentional grounding. But it came from the referee as Brewer threw the ball, and he'll pick it up and wave it off. I'm not positive on what that was. You can see Alan Trimble not happy. Bill Blankenship thankful. Incomplete pass is all it amounts to in the 2nd and 17.
Maybe the first inclination was that it was intentional grounding, and checking with the other official, there was probably someone near enough that they pulled it off.
You can hear the Jenks fans' displeasure. 2nd and 17 from their own 12-yard line. Just underway here, second half. Brewer, quick out, nice catch. Breaking the tackle, getting first down yardage and more. Big play for number 15, Tyler Graves. That was a nice catch to start off, and then a great job running with the football afterwards, a 23-yard pickup.
And Clint Bales comes in here and finally makes the tackle, but absolutely Graves makes some great moves right there. And well, he also had a little help in there from Chris Gilchrist as well.
So digs them out of a hole deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 from their own 35. Brewer again dropping the throw. And looking. Good pressure, good coverage. Now this is when Brewer is most dangerous. He'll get out to about the 45, near first down yardage again. And it looks like from the spot he should have enough. He is so dangerous, even when they've got good coverage and a good pass rush. Brewer turns nothing into something.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, that is good pass defense right there, but at the same time, why it just opens the field up for him to run, and a good tackle made in there by Dominic Franks, and then again Clint Bales comes flying in and just takes the Brewers' feet right out from under him.
When Brewer pumped the throw, they're going to bring the sticks in for the measurement. When Brewer pumped the throw, Jake Smith left his feet. Remember, Jake Smith was a guy that got blindsided and hammered earlier. This time as he jumps, Brewer pulls the ball back down. One of the offensive linemen, take a look again. Maybe you can see it at the very right of your screen. He jumps up, gets his feet taken out, and spilled again. Rough night for Jake Smith.
Took a pretty good lick right there, didn't he?
So first down for the Trojans, keeps the drive alive. And they'll put the ball down right at the 46-yard line. 1st and 10 Trojans. 20-10 Redskin lead. 11:03 left to go.
And you know, this is what Alan Trimble wanted. He wanted to come out and establish that running game and establish that offense like he did in the first quarter.
Make a statement. Give is to Carolina, right side. 1 yard, maybe. Good job by the defense.
Pola Jamoa was the one who really came in there and made the tackle. The big 6'1", 215-pound senior defensive end, number 97.
One of the Trojans down right now. Looks like number 68 on that offensive front there. That would be Chad Doris, 6'2", 275. You hate to see those. You hate to see anybody go down, but those big guys with more weight to move around on knees and ankles and stuff.
Chad's 275 pounds, 6'2". He is a big lineman, offensive and defensive lineman.
Coach Trimble out to take a look. Play stopped with 10:44 here to go, third quarter. Well, we take a timeout and we will be right back. 20-10 on Washington and the Carl Albert Titans. 1 o'clock kickoff for you right here on Cox Communications. Jenks with the football, 2nd and 9 from their own 46. Brewer going to follow the lead by Carolina. Get across midfield into Union territory, finally taken down at about the 47.
Jake Smith in on the initial tackle.
Trojans taking this opening possession of the second half, trying to regain momentum.
Well, you know, Brewer had such a good first half. He carried the ball 14 times for 76 yards. He had more yardage than Carolina had.
Twins left on this 3rd and 3 play for the Trojans. Meyer, bottom of your screen. He's looking for him all the way and going after. And great catch. And no, he dropped it at the end. Incomplete. He had it and just couldn't hang on. Coming down with the football, incomplete, brings up 4th and 3. He nearly had it.
Well, he shows you, talking about Jesse Meyer, just exactly how good a offensive player he is. He's got a hold of it, but just couldn't quite hang on to it. Well, good defensive effort in there as well by Chris Gilchrist. You know, he's got his arms and his hands all over it. Good effort.
So a 4th and 3 punting situation for the Trojans, although where they are right here, the fake's not out of the question. They'll go ahead and kick it away. It's a good high kick. Fair catch called for. Dropped. And who got on it? Redskins think they have it, but who knows what's going on at the bottom of that pile. Trojans get it. The return man was calling for a fair catch. One of the defenders looked like he got pretty close, and it kind of shook the return man. Take a look again. It's Brock Dixon, and at the last second he kind of flinches. Ball comes loose, looked like he had it, and then a fight for the football, and who came up with it?
It looked like maybe Tyler Graves was the one who finally came up with it, number 15.
And Zach Casey in the backfield with Freddie Carolina from under center. They'll give to Carolina, and he is immediately hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss.
Terrell Jamo in there along with Antonio Graham, two of the better defensive players for the Redskins, and they come in on him tough.
Another big play. Antonio Graham's made a couple already tonight. You don't see Freddie Carolina tackled at the line, much less behind the line, very often.
No, I think you could count it on one hand.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 from the Redskins 16. Dillard and Casey again in the backfield, and a flag comes out. .8:56 to go, third quarter.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense.
Encroachment.
Repeat second down.
Against Tulsa Union. That will help the Jenks cause and get the ball down to the 11-yard line. Needs to get to about the 4 for a first down. There's a look at the penalties. Meyer, top of your screen. He's the lone wideout. Brewer wants to roll right. He's got a man open in the end zone. Goes underneath instead. Complete to Dillard at the 1-yard line. Touchdown, yes. They finally say he got in. First he marked him down at the 1, it looked like, and then they signal touchdown. Take a look.
Well, this is a nice option in there by Brewer, picking up Dillard. Awful hard to tell there, wasn't it? Close.
Looked like he stepped out, but nonetheless in the end zone for the touchdown. So another momentum changer after the problem with the punt by the Redskins gave it to the Trojans. He actually had another guy open early in that play in the back of the end zone. Was Lampkin, but he chose to go to Dillard for the touchdown. Extra point is good. It's 20-17. Union on top, but Jenks coming on strong. Rod Thompson on the sidelines.
Hey, Steve, exactly right. You guys said it pretty close. I was right down here by it. That could have went either way right there. But you know Philip Dillard, when they line him up in the backfield, he's either going to open up some holes or they like to roll him out to catch that little pass. And he, with his big body, was able to bowl. Referee got down right down by the yard line, called it a touchdown. So pretty good play. But you talked about momentum. Now Jenks kind of has it. We have a great game. Over to you, Tim.
Guys, Bill Blankenship just told his team, fellas, this was what we were going to be in for. We knew we were going to be in for this, and we're prepared for it. Now get that deer in the headlights look off your face and go play some football, guys.
All right. 20-17. Missed extra point is really big.
Anytime you miss one in the first half, it really seems to come back and haunt you someplace, doesn't it?
8:38 left to go, third quarter. Or 20 minutes and 38 seconds of football. You might want to strap it on just a little bit tighter. Got a feeling we're in for a doozy. Kickoff goes into the end zone, no return. Redskins will get it 1st and 10 from their own 20. Now we'll see how the Redskins respond.
Yeah, this is certainly an opportunity for, you see the yards beginning to get a little closer. 210 for Union, 213 for Jenks.
Allen comes out wide to the left side, twins to the right, first down give to Tony Moore. Moore breaks a couple tackles into the secondary, out across the 30, first down yardage for the Union Redskins running back Tony Moore.
Now, Tony Moore is a big, strong running back, and that time it looked like he submarined that line and went under them and suddenly popped out.
That would be a big boom. Brad Glenn was their man in the first half throwing the footballs. They tried to get more on track, really never got him going. They'd love to establish him in the running game here in the second half.
Well, you know that Jenks is going to address Brad Glenn wherever he goes.
Moore again, left side, makes a tackle with a stiff arm. Andrew Brewer out there finally to push him out of bounds in Jenks territory at the 49-yard line.
And, you know, that was a play that they just couldn't get outside with Tony Moore during the first half, but a good block coming around the corner there, the guard pulling and really springing him loose before Brewer can push him out.
21-yard pickup on the play, 1st and 10 in Trojan territory. Numbers starting to get a little more respectable. At one point, he had 6 carries and 1 yard. 1st and 10. Moore again. Not much running room. Struggles forward for about 3. Taken down at about the 46-yard line.
What Tony Moore does for you is what he did last week. If you have the lead, he can just keep that ball on the ground and chew the clock up at those 3, 4, and 5-yard gains.
The Broken Arrow coach, Brent Whitson, again, he coached against both these teams this year. Tony Moore, he said, is one of the most patient running backs he's ever seen. He waits for those holes to develop and then finds a crease, and if there's not one there, he makes one himself. Glenn straight up the middle. Huge burst. I'm telling you what, he reminds me of Larry Zonka. He kind of is, you know, an upright runner, JB, and he reminds me a lot of Larry Zonka, played for the Dolphins in the 70s.
Well, I tell you what, when he gets that roll going, it's just really hard to stop. But, you know, I think Coach Whitson really had a great explanation or a great description of him, because he does play that way. He does not play in a hurry, does he?
It's a good one. So is number 37, man. He is having himself a night. 1st and 10. They're at the Jenks 35-yard line. Fake the give to Glenn, go right side Moore, and he gets about 2 yards.
Chase Baylor making the tackle in there for the Jenks Trojans.
The all-time series, the Trojans lead it 26-10. Alan Trimble 111-10 in his years, 9th year at Jenks, 32-1 as we mentioned in the playoffs. Tulsa Union has not had, other than last week's game that they won 20-0, that's the closest game they've had since week 2. Adams going for the bundle. Right side, end zone. Off the fingertips, incomplete. Trying to hook up with Brock Dixon out there. A little too far.
We talk about a game of inches, just a little few inches long right there. Brock Dixon unable to hang on to it, but good defense out there as well. Good coverage on the part of the Jenks Trojans.
Dixon got a hand on it, but as you said, good coverage out there.
John Fausch was the one who was out there covering.
Big 3rd and 9 play. I think they're in 4-down territory regardless. Adams changes the play. 5 on the play clock. Takes the snap. It's Moore, right side. Glenn leads the way for him. Moore gets out about the 27. Needs to get to the 25. That'll bring up an interesting 4th and 2 call.
Mackenzie Adams that time just barely beating the play clock. I think there was 1 second on the clock when it was snapped, but a good adjustment to the line of scrimmage, and that's one of his strengths. Bill Blankenship has talked about the way he has adjusted and been able to change plays at the line of scrimmage and do the right thing.
What's better, a short 2 or a long 1?
Kind of measures out the same, doesn't it?
It's 4th down. They're going for it as usual. The give is to Glenn. He's been the money man all night. First down yardage as he pulls his way down to the 22. Glenn is having himself a night. He's already been in the end zone twice. We said they'll line him up at fullback. They'll line him up as a tight end. He's dangerous at either.
Well, he's carried the ball 3 times for 18 yards, caught 4 for 144.
Man,
that's a pretty good night for the big fella.
Bet. Moore coming right side, running out of room on the far side of the field. Going to pick up about 2. Glenn, as we said, has had himself a pretty good little night. A couple of touchdowns. Take a look at some of the highlights. Big number 37. Here he's lined up as a tight end. Picks up substantial yardage. Here he's lined up as a running back. They circle him out of the backfield. Gets into the secondary. And then if he has to run the football, get out of my way. I'm coming through. 10th play of the drive. Moore trying to bounce off tacklers. Dives forward, ball's loose. I think the Redskins got it back, but from where Glenn was to where they recovered it, it's going to be about a 5-yard loss and bring up 3rd and about 12. Sometimes those big guys don't want to go down. Naturally, you want to tell them that, but you got a lot of guys grabbing at the football too.
Yeah, sometimes it just might be well to go on down, but that's very alert in there. Adam McKenzie just really, or Mackenzie Adams, getting after the ball and covering it.
All right, here we go, a 3rd and 12 play from the Jenks 24. Trips to the left, and a flag flies. Adams, of course, coming from Metro Christian, along with his dad, Jeff, who came here after he was the head coach.
Dead ball.
To join this.
Encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty.
Penalty on the defense. Mackenzie Adams and his dad, Jeff, coming over to join the Union program and expand their horizons, so to speak. They've done a very good job of that. Trying to get back in the end zone right now, looking at a 3rd and 7 with 4:30 left to go, 3rd quarter. Dixon, top of your screen. Allen at the bottom. The give to Moore. Patiently picks his way. Gets down to about the 15-yard line. Needs to get to the 12 for a 1st down. It'll bring up another 4th down situation.
And we've had a lot of big plays and big downs so far in the game, and we're faced with another one right here if you are a Union Redskin. Big defensive stand needed by the Trojans.
Play is sent in with Mackenzie Adams. The crowd comes to life. The defense comes to life. 4th, they're saying 3. He needs to get to the 12. Ball at the 15. Adams fakes and rolls. Throws. And incomplete. He was wide open. Adams hurried a little bit, put a little too much on the throw. Ooh, that was close.
So those are the ones you'd like to have back and try again, but again at the same time, you know, he's made some great plays. Had his receiver out there trying to get it into Cameron Gruenberg, a tight end. Just a little overthrown.
So the Trojans will come out 3:36. They weathered the storm. Momentum has shifted again back to the Trojans. They'll send trips to the left side. First down, Brewer's just going to run it, and it's stuffed. Didn't even make it back to the line of scrimmage. Good stand by the Redskin defense.
Led by Antonio Graham, the linebacker, coming in there and making the stop. Looked like there could have been some miscommunication on that play, and Brewer decided just to go ahead and take it. Don't believe that was a call play.
Got a feeling we're going to settle for a slugfest the rest of the way. Been a game of big plays.
Now this is your first Jenks Union final, Steve. You've got it right. You get ready for it.
Carolina gets the give. He bowls his way over the 20-yard line, down to about the 22. Leaves about 3 yards yet for first down yardage.
You know Brock Dixon hit him straight up, but he still makes another 2 or 3 yards. Just such a tremendously strong runner.
There are the Union big men on defense. And there's the big man on offense, even though he's the tailback. Checking into close to the same weight, a little different physique, and great running back. 3rd and 3. Big play for the Trojans. Brewer's going to keep it. Sprints to the right side, first down yardage. Out to about the 28. Only needed to get to the 25.
Quick reaction there by Brock Dixon, coming over and adjusting very quickly, preventing a long gainer by pushing Brewer out of bounds.
Say this, if you're on defense, you do not want Jenks to have the football last in a close game.
No, I think you're right there, and especially you don't want Brewer to have it in his hands.
We really haven't seen how well Brewer throws the football. He's been running it so well. There you see 82 yards, 16 carries. Carolina has done well. And the big pass to Meyer earlier. Makes the handoff, rolls. And he's going to have to throw this one before he wanted to. And he was taken down after he threw the football. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Pass was intended for Tyler Graves, and back defending was Kewan Taylor for the Redskins. And good look at the quarterback, Andrew Brewer.
I thought a picture in the Tulsa World Sports page today showed a picture of Brewer going into the end zone for one of his touchdowns last week. And it looked like he was looking right at the camera, as though he knew where the camera was, as though he knows where everybody is, and is very aware as to what's going on all around him, not just on the field, but even so much as to know where the cameraman is. Carolina gets the give, and he doesn't get much. And here comes a late flag. The officials seeing something a little bit too extra from what they want to see.
Number 31, Clint Bales, coming in just a little late.
That would have made it 3rd and about 10. 3rd and about 8, rather.
On the defense.
Instead, it gives the Trojans the first down. You know, there's a fine line between playing with great enthusiasm and making sure that it's not something that hurts the team. Bales has already come up with so many big plays. He'll recover from that. That does give the Trojans a first down.
Well, a very costly penalty there on the part of Clint Bales, but at the same time, why defensive coaches certainly want their players to be aggressive. You have to play aggressive, but there is that fine line, as you mentioned, when you've got to be able to shut it off.
Lucia, wide right, bottom of your screen. Twins left. 1st and 10. Fake to Carolina, give to Brewer. And he is hit and spun sideways and turned over and dumped. 1-yard pickup.
You know, it looked like he was going to be thrown for about a 2-yard loss. A great spin move and a great effort on Brewer's part to go ahead and pick up that yard.
Tough competitor. Clock winding down, 1:15 to go, 3rd quarter. You're tuned into the 6A state championship. Number 1 Jenks, number 2 Tulsa Union.
And what looks to be another one of those classic games between the Trojans and the Redskins.
Brewer. They pick up the blitz. Going long to Meyer. Too long, incomplete. And Brewer hit again as he delivered the football. Again, he had to throw the ball just a little bit earlier than he wanted to. Otherwise, he had Meyer, and Meyer had the secondary beat.
Well, Jesse Meyer, he certainly did. He had gotten in behind Chris Gilchrist right there, and a lot of pressure coming right here. And Andrew Brewer, I'm sure, could see it, and wham, he took a pretty good blow. But, again, just a game of inches, isn't it?
Clint Fowler was the man in there delivering the hit. It was a well-timed hit. Get a good, strong, aggressive hit. 53 seconds left to go. We're in the 3rd quarter. Union on top of Jenks, 20-17, a big 3rd and 10 play. Watch Meyer with single coverage, bottom of your screen. Gonna roll it left. And given the backfield and tripped up for a loss. Union defense coming up big.
Carroll Jameau was the one who got a hand on him in there, and it didn't look like he could ever knock Freddie Caroline down with one hand, but Carroll Jameau is 235-pounder, and he's just about as strong as Freddie Caroline.
4th and 15. And the Trojans will have to punt it away. Clock winding down, final 20 seconds of this 3rd quarter.
And that was a big defensive stand by the Redskins after that penalty.
Dixon back there to field the punt. They'll let it hit. Now that was a flag, and they come flying in. The ball was bouncing, and one of the Union players hit one of the Jenks players in the back, trying to knock them towards the football and cause a fumble or a muff on the punt. I think that'll be the call.
We'll have to sort this one out.
I saw it happen. You know, more or less blocked one of the, offensive players or the punt team players. Illegal use of hands. That's what I saw.
We're going to get you a flag, Steve. That's good eyesight.
Just got lucky there. That was where I was looking, and
I did not see it.
Usually you'd probably get away with a play like that.
Well, this just shows you the aggressiveness that we're going to see in the next 12 minutes.
That's probably
blocking the back on the offense on the kick. Penalties decline. 1st down.
Probably a pretty heady play, really, to try and knock somebody who's on the punt return team into the football, when they're not really into the football, trying to cause that turnover or that muff on the punt situation. But he got caught. That's the only downside. 4 ticks left in the 3rd quarter.
Well, the way these two teams fire up from one another, I can pretty much understand any penalty that would occur just simply because of the anxiousness and the aggressiveness.
Adams gives to Moore. That'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. There's only one left. Motion. Reverse this time. As they hand it off there to Chris Burnett. Burnett has 1st down yardage, and then he is hammered out of bounds. Ran that a couple times last week. Once it worked about like that. Another time it got tripped up in the backfield. Nice little change up to throw every once in a while.
It really is.
Watch Glenn out there in front leading the way.
And that's a pretty good sized blocker leading the way for you. Burnett, he's a senior 160-pounder, and He took a pretty good lick out of bounds, didn't he?
And Felty, number 44, coming over and laying the wood to him. First down pickup on the play. We're just underway here in the fourth quarter. Moore straight ahead. 3-4 yards across the 40. Moore maybe hasn't had the game that most people would have thought necessary for Union to be where they are right now, but Brad Glenn has stepped in a supporting role quite well.
And so many times things of that nature happen in big games like this that there will be someone that you're not expecting, but at the same time we saw Brad Glenn last week and we knew he had the capability of running the ball and catching the ball.
2nd and 5. Redskins give to Glenn, and he is stopped short. Good job in there defensively. Looks like Dillard, or number 44, actually getting up there as well for the Trojans. Matt Felty, who's been busy lately.
Well, this was a series that, you know, the coaching staff for Union wanted to grind out a couple of, at least a couple of first downs, but looks like that's going to be a tough 3 yards right here.
As Lee Corso says, hold on, my friend. 3rd and 3. See what happens here. They'll give it again to Glenn, and he'll fall forward, but I don't think he has enough.
This one's going to be close. Kind of depends on the spot, doesn't it?
From the spot, it looks a little shy. That'll bring up 4th and about a half yard. And if I was a betting man, well, he got enough. Good spot. Got enough for the first down. So that keeps the drive alive for the Redskins, who would love to get off this 3-point lead.
Well, and not only that, but they are working the clock, milking it down, 10:30 to go, and it becomes a factor, with the exception of Andrew Brewer.
Moore again, left side. Stacked up, no gain. Philip Dillard, number 24, all over that one.
And what I was saying there when I said, you know, the fact that with Andrew Brewer, time doesn't mean as much as it would be with a lot of teams, because he can take his team and go the length of the field, and we have seen him do it in the past, and he can do it in just a few seconds.
2nd down 10 from their own 48-yard line. Adams straightens up the formation. Fakes to Moore. Wants to go long. Nobody to throw to. Now he'll float it out there, and it's caught. Moore out of the backfield. First down for the Redskins. Great coverage by the Trojans in the secondary. Great job by Adams to roll out, avoid a would-be sack tackle, and complete the pass for a first down, and Moore keeping his head in the play.
Well, it looks like Mackenzie Adams is going to be thrown for a loss. He gets away and then really very alertly picks up Moore out in the flat and get the first down, and more importantly, keep possession of the ball, and they can turn that clock some more.
Pretty good numbers. Yards per completion, 6 completions, 190 yards. Moore caught in the backfield from behind. And another good play by the Trojan defense. And that's Felty again.
Well,
that's Felty.
I tell you what, he's showing you some quickness, getting in the backfield and coming from behind and getting more. Felty's a senior, 6'3", 225 pound.
2nd and 11. Clock rolling, 8:48 in regulation. Touchdown for Union would be huge. Adams wants to throw. Looking for his man, and he's got him. Great job readjusting. Down there, Benny Leitner, 6-foot senior, coming back on that football when it was underthrown and getting the completion.
You know, this is something we really haven't talked about, but Union has just a number of very capable receivers, and certainly Whitener is one of them right here. He too is a senior.
30-yard pickup down at the 9.5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Redskins. That was a big play by Whitener right there.
And Steve, you were right. A touchdown at this point would really, really be huge for the Redskins.
Give it to Glenn up the middle inside the 5. Still fighting. Glenn smells it. Glenn into the end zone. Touchdown. What an effort. What a game for Brad Glenn to try to make it a 10-point lead. Snap back. Short kick. Taken again by McLaurin. Trying to get outside and taken down right at the 20-yard line. Well, there's 8:01 left to play. The Trojans trail by 10. They have to score without giving the football back up to the Redskins without any points here. This is a must drive for the Trojans.
And the guy on the tackle that time was Clint Bales, number 31.
There's Adams rolling out when it looked like he was going to have to throw the ball away. Finally found Tony Moore. Got a big first down. Then the great catch by Whitener coming back, taking away from the defender, and then Brad Glenn, watch him, knocking people out of his way. Get out of my way.
And it looked like that ball was coming out behind, didn't it?
First down for the Trojans. They're going after it right away. Defenders all over that. And an incomplete pass. That was Brewer, the intended receiver on that play. And JV, you said they'd run that every so often.
Yeah, they will run that. They'll run in that sophomore quarterback, Nick Sidarkis, and he can throw the ball just about as well as anyone for a youngster. And, of course, Brewer with the speed he's got and the great hands, that's always a good play.
On the sidelines, down to Rod Thompson.
Hey, you guys said exactly right. You see Nick Sidarkis right now, the sophomore coming in and playing quarterback. They're going to switch some formations. You see Brewer was out at receiver. Great athlete, going to try to get him out. So look for Jenks doing this drive right here to switch up a lot of things. Brewer at quarterback, and they will put him at receiver. Steve?
7:54 left to go. Trojans down 10. Throw the crossing paddle underneath. Tried to get it to Miller, little low. Defended there well by number 32, Antonio Graham, who's had a big game.
And, you know, it looked like it was going to be a complete pass until Antonio Graham really came in from the backside, and the ball then suddenly pops out.
3rd and 10. Deep inside their own territory. Trojans have all 3 timeouts left.
And remember, we saw the Jenks Trojans last week when it looked like that they were not going to be able to come back, and suddenly they were ignited, and don't ever discount them as long as there are seconds on the clock.
Brewer hit in the backfield and taken down. Jake Smith, number 35. He was looking for that.
Yes, he was, and you know, he's playing with a lot of passion right now because maybe the lick he took over there in the first half, why he wants to kind of come back and do some damage himself.
Watch again. Freddie Carolina's supposed to have the block on Smith. He doesn't get him, and after he sees what happened, Freddie Carolina was hanging his head. That was a big play for Smith to get away from Carolina and make the play defensively. 4th down, 16. Deep inside their own territory with 7 minutes left to play. Nobody is deep for Union. They were looking for it all the way, but they still got a man open. It's complete, the first down. Jeff Jackson. A fake punt from your own goal line.
And it was, you know, it was very obvious there that Union knew that something like this was coming. But Jackson gets out there in the open, makes the catch.
Kind of snuck out of the middle of the formation there, did Jeff Jackson. And that is just an unbelievable play.
Well, and that's, you know, I would just say that you just can't take anything for granted in this football game.
Drive alive, 6:48 to go and counting. Fans whooping it up to a fever pitch. Brewer to throw, flushed and taken down. It's Smith again. Meyer, bottom of your screen. 3rd and 18. Brewer sets up to throw, fires a dart over the middle. It's intercepted. Picked off by Kewan Taylor. Taylor down the sideline to the 30-yard.
First downs.
Give it to Brad Glenn. Glenn breaking tackles again. Look at him go. Somebody ate their spinach before the ball game tonight.
You know, I think Tim Lasher is right. The scouts that see him, they're going to be after him, trying to convince him that he can play football in the fall and baseball in the spring. But he is an outstanding baseball player, and a scholarship to Arizona State isn't a bad way to go if you're a baseball.
Not bad at all. Getting down close to the 5-minute mark. Adams.
But Steve, he's having fun right now.
Oh man, he doesn't want this night to end. Tony Moore will try the right side. In the contest, Union leading by 10, and they have the football. Run blitz. Give to Moore. Ed stacked up at the 10. Still waiting for Moore. Left side, has some blocking. Inside the 10 to the 8 and taken down.
Kyle Kraft's big offensive lineman getting out there and getting the kick out that allowed Moore to pick up a few yards.
3rd and 5. Glenn the fullback. Moore the tailback, a reverse to Dixon. Trying to get outside. Taken down and a loss on the play. Ben Cutton with a great defensive play. A flag thrown. And at first it looked like, I thought maybe it could have been called for a face mask, but I didn't see a flag right away from the official standing right there. And that might be what Alan Trimble is a little hot under the collar about.
Well, he is certainly upset over the call. And they took
7 to play. Snap back. Kick is on the way. It's up and no good. So Jenks has a life. They do have all 3 of their timeouts. Right now his team trails by 10. Brewer takes the snap, throws right side, complete to Meyer. He gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 1:49.
Well, you know that Alan Trimble and his staff has a plan. If they can, with 3 timeouts, they can utilize them and can score here in a minute.
Stops the clock on the out of bounds. Completion. Brewer takes the snap, rolls right. Now wants to throw back to his left, and it's tipped and intercepted. What a play at the line. But that interception killed him. The give to Moore, both hands around the football. Gets about 5 yards inside the 25. Jenks immediately stops the clock on the play clock. Adams gets the snap. Motion, pitch left. Moore looks for a seam. Gets inside the 30, down to about the 28-yard line. And fake the reverse, give to Moore. Left side wants to stay in bounds, and he didn't. Gets out with 1:07. That stops the clock. Jesse Meyer coming up to make the stop defensively.
I don't think he wanted to get out of bounds,
no, I don't think so either.
It just kind of happened anyway.
So 4th and 7 with 1:07 left. And the Trojans with 1 timeout left. Clock will stop in the change of possession.
Those kids are tougher than I am. They can be out there without a shirt on.
Take and give to Glenn. He can turn that corner, but Trojans are all over that. And that clock stopped as soon as he hit the turf. 1:01 left to play. Throw it to Cutton underneath. Cutton has the reception. Going to be taken down inbound. So the clock will stop as they move the chains. And the Trojans will get immediately to the line of scrimmage, and Brewer will probably spike it. Clock right now stopped with 53 seconds left.
Well, they used 8 seconds on that, or 7 seconds rather, on that play, maybe 8 seconds.
Official says start the clock. Brewer will not spike it. He'll stand in shotgun formation and look to throw again. Scrambles and sacked. Taken down by the Union defense.
Chase Nelson in there once again, 96. He's
Myers out there wide left, 2nd and 17. Brewer takes the snap, wants to roll left, pressured from the far side. They pick up the blitz, fire the pass over the middle, it's caught. Big yardage inside the 20, finally thrown down at about the 18-yard line, and the clock stops with 30 seconds left. Brewer again, watch this block they catch. Give Brewer extra time, and he plants and fires a dart. 50-yard pickup on the play. 30 seconds left, no timeouts left, down by 10 points.
Now, do you think Jenks has submitted? You think they have given up? No, they haven't. Nope. They're going to take it to the last second.
And if they score here,
oh, anything can happen.
Look out. Brewer drops the throw. Waiting for Meyer to get open, overthrows it, knocked out of bounds, incomplete. 21 seconds left.
Double coverage back there by Taylor and Dixon.
Plays. This time he's going down the middle. Here comes the secondary, and it's taken away, intercepted. Dixon will get the INT and seal the victory for the Redskins.
Well, good protection here, and one last gasp. Great play in there. You could see it coming. Brock Dixon reading it, coming across, and then just taking the slide.
Adams takes the knee, and that will do it. The Redskins are the state champions for 2004. Adams is taking the game ball with him. What a moment to enjoy. You got to see Bill Blankenship and his son, Josh. Always great when you can experience with other coaches and family especially. Tim Lasher with who has to be our star of the game.
You got that right, fellas. We got a workhorse here in Brad Glenn. Brad, how does it feel, buddy?
It feels great. I mean, coming from a small school, not getting past first round every year, and coming to this, I mean, it's great. Just look how many people here, man. It's awesome.
Did you ever imagine in a state championship game you're going to get this many touches and do what you did with the football?
There's no way I imagined this, and you know, our offensive line did great to keep the guys off McKenzie, and McKenzie just got me the ball. And, you know, I just worked with it. I did what I could.
Coming into the game, what did you think you had to do in order to win it?
We thought that we definitely had to be physical because we know they're a real physical team, and we had to get after it.
There's no doubt about that, guy. And you're going to Arizona on a baseball scholarship. Mike Stoops may see this and ask you to come over and play football. What do you think?
Well, if he asks me to come over, I'll go check it out, and I'll probably go over and play.
Great, buddy. Congratulations. Enjoy it and celebrate big tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Guys, back up to you.
All right, Tim got the scoop on all those recruiting gurus. We will take a timeout and come back with more for you on our wrap-up. Union Redskins, state champs for 2004. 17 in a thriller. Great contest here. And a well-deserving Bill Blankenship, head coach for Bill Blankenship. Let's go back down on the sidelines once again, Rod Thompson.
Hey, thanks, guys. Joined here now by Tony Moore. Guy, he's signing some autographs right here. And Tony, you talked earlier coming to Union. This is what you wanted, was a state championship. How does it feel, man?
It's a dream come true. These guys did a great job. Brad Glenn, Mackenzie Adams, they all did a good job. I mean, the offensive line, they did it once again. Defense stepped up at the end.
Is it when you think about it, you come in, I see you give Coach Blankenship a big hug, and they talk so highly, the staff talks so highly about you.